guys can all see that, right?
Can you guys see here today?
Okay. Perfect. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, as you know, I'm Demetrius, otherwise known as the Train Guy, and today we are going to be talking about trains. Okay, so by any chance I'm still kind of a little sick, and I wish I could have gone to Big Cypress. I missed it because I had a lot of Shrek jokes and a lot of big swamp jokes also too. So, I mean, it's not ogre till it's ogre.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, so let's begin. We have a big problem here in South Florida, a lot of problems. Number one, CO2 levels are increasing, as well as pollution. We have more and more development with suburban housing moving more towards the west, and that's not really a good idea because this is our water source, and if we don't have our water source, we're going to die. The other thing, also a problem, is this. Miami Beach is flooding. So there is a reality to it. Florida is going to continue to grow, and it's not going to stop. We are part of nature. We are Homo sapiens, so believe it or not, we kind of are animals. So we do have to survive, but we also are part of nature also too as well. So we kind of have to figure out a balance in between that. So I'm neither a climate change denier nor a climate change fanatic, but we have to find a balance in between. And these people are going to need a place to live. Now, I remember going to Publix, and there was these guys, you guys know what Reynolds Park is, right? The park right over here. They had a shirt on that said, Save Reynolds Park. I said, oh, I love Reynolds Park, but what are they doing to it? It's like, oh, they're going to build a giant apartment building right next to Reynolds Park. I'm like, okay, that's great. I mean, a lot of people are going to be living right next to the park, and they'll be able to go and enjoy it. It's like, oh, but it's going to destroy the park. And I said, well, think of it this way. Would you rather have an apartment building to have about 200 people live in, or would you rather burn down the whole entire park and put 200 houses? And they couldn't answer that question. So the answer is we need to find places for these people to live, and we can't just burn down everything to put more houses. And the biggest thing is that people need to get around to live, to work, and to play. And the car has failed. Raise your hand if you enjoy traffic. I thought so. You enjoy traffic?
Well, I like to go on road race.
Okay, so that's 1 out of about 20 people. Case in point, nobody enjoys traffic. So here's the solution. There's a need for a cleaner, safer, faster, more convenient transportation option that's needed. And the answer that's been put in Europe and in Asia has been the train. And also here in the United States as well, but that's another story of why we don't have trains as much. So we cannot keep developing west as well. So interurban living is now becoming the new norm with the millennial generation. So all of us here are sort of the millennial generation, and we're wanting to more live towards the city center, towards the urban environments. Not to the suburban areas, how it was in the 1950s was the American dream, which the American dream is pretty much to live free wherever the heck you want to go. And if you want to live in the city, I mean, New York is the biggest city, so that's pretty much the American dream to a lot of people. And here's a quick diagram or GIF of what transportation differences are. So, for example, you see cars. There's 200 people and 177 cars, and there's the same amount of people on 3 buses and on 1 train. So imagine that. Imagine the less amount of traffic, the less amount of CO2 going into the environment if you could put more people on trains and on cleaner ways of getting around. So here's a solution that is now coming to Florida. It's called All Aboard Florida, which yesterday it changed its name to Brightline. So you guys are going to see the Brightline train all over the place. And this is a clean diesel train, believe it or not. But don't take it from me, take it from All Aboard Florida, which I filmed from the documentary called The American Train. So give me 1 second, let me put it on here.
Can you try to connect this?
Okay, so what I can explain is what it is a first tier 4 EPA diesel train. So what that means is that it's the highest standard of EPA standards for a train ever in the United States. And what it also does is that it takes, diesel usually has nitrous oxides go out as pollutants. So what this train does, it has, what you call it, some sort of a thing in the after treatment that what it does is separates the water and the nitrogen from away, so you get pure water and pure nitrogen coming out from the train. So you can pretty much stand in front of the train and breathe it. I still don't recommend it, but basically you can do that. So that's how clean the train is. And by any chance, if you guys want to see the full documentary, just came out on YouTube yesterday. It's amazing. We just got like 377 views in like, I don't know how many hours, so we're doing a hell of a lot. and it's becoming, you know, a great thing for hopefully the whole rest of the United States. The other thing that the train does, it decreases road space. So it's going to take 3 million vehicles off the road every year. So the track is 240 miles, and for every mile, that's 1,100 tons of CO2 taken off every year. So imagine how much cleaner the air is going to be. And even if you don't want to take the train, you don't have to see this, because that's more people going on the train every year. And the other thing is, look at the size comparison of this compared to this. Now you can take the same amount of people over here faster for a fraction of the land than a roadway would take. So that's more area now for nature preserves, for animals to live in, and for more species and plants to live in also too as well. There are some people up in the Treasure Coast that want to stop all aboard Florida for really silly reasons, and they hired an environmental expert to say that the train vibrations are going to kill fish. There's a lot of vibration coming out from the roads, as you can see. And the other cool thing is that All Aboard Florida is also going to provide a lot of stations and stuff for people, and you can live, work, and play within the stations also too if you want to do that. So these are going to be the first LEED certified stations also too as well. And they're not just LED certified, they're LED silver certified, so they surpass the standards, the EPA standards and the ecology standards that are needed for sustainable buildings. And these buildings are going to sustain about 1,800 residencies within the Miami Central Station alone. So imagine that on just 9 acres of land, that you have 1,080 residences. So, like I know, like some people have like houses that are like 0.5 acres. So imagine if you have 1,000 0.5 acre houses. So that's 500 acres you're going to take compared to just 9 acres. You're going to have a mall also there too. And it's even going to have also green space on the top. It's going to have a dog walking park and everything on there as well, which is very uncommon for some reason here in South Florida, which should be more common now. And also, I mean, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get from here, Miami, to Orlando, and you can also see the environment also too as well. In fact, if you guys went to Jonathan Dickinson State Park, you did cross over the Flagler line, which is where the trains are going to be located also too. And this is something that we're going to see not just for South Florida, but the entire future of the United States, that we're now moving towards a greener mode of transportation for everyone to use, a faster mode of transportation, and a much safer mode of transportation also too. Because yes, we are a species, we are a part of nature, so we do have a responsibility to live and interact and balance it also too as well. And this is the solution, the biggest solution that we have right now that we can all get on board on and make it happen. All right. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
What are you going to do about the roads? Like, are you going to demolish them or what?
Well, the roads are going to stay there, but we hope that there's not going to be any more building of roads, because as you can see, the more roads you build, it's not doing anything to help traffic, guys. I don't know how long they've been doing the 836. I think Jesus was trotting on there since they started construction. But it's not. It doesn't matter how many lanes you build. Yeah, I don't know how many times you're gonna make that wider, but making the roads wide doesn't help. So what we're hoping with this project is that it also brings in more intercity transportation and intra-city transportation, like the Miami Maglev that I proposed also too as well, and other things like that, metro rail extensions. You also have the tri-rail extension that's going to go on the eastern seaboard also too, on the same tracks. So you can basically get from here that they're going to have hopefully a station on 151st Street, and you can get up to Aventura or down to downtown and connect on All Aboard Florida. So more trains, the better. Yep.
So the railroad on Dixie Highway, that's Flagler.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's the Flagler.
They're already doing closures in my neighborhood where they're redoing the railroads in some spots. So it's definitely a reality.
Yeah, they actually are building the station right now downtown. Yeah.
Do you guys work with other departments, like the Department of Transportation, as far as like getting public transportation to go there too, like buses, terminals and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big thing also too with Miami Central. Is going to be a big hub for not just buses, but for also rail as well. So the Metro Rail is going to be connected to Miami Central, and you're going to see like in the Fort Lauderdale stations, it's going to be right next to the bus terminal.
Oh, like
So
a
you
big
can like
transfer
walk.
station.
Yeah, so you can be able to walk and transfer all too. So it's not just get to Miami to Orlando, but to also get within the cities also too as well. And Fort Lauderdale is building a streetcar called the Wave, which you can be able to get into Los Olas also too as well. Okay, anybody have any other questions also too? And by the way, if you guys want to learn more about this, we have a documentary up called The American Train. You can learn about the history of the Flagler line and pretty much the history of South Florida. South Florida would not exist without Flagler building the line here, and we couldn't enjoy the beauty that South Florida has to give to us.
Hey, don't forget Julia Tuttle.
And Julia Tuttle also too as well. She's in the documentary as well because she's the mother of South Florida. Well, Miami. But the rest of South Florida, east of seaboard of South Florida, that's all Flagler. All right. Anybody else? Any more questions? All right. Thank you.
I know, it's so quiet.